Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. Hi again, and your most favorite people are here again.
Most best ever.
Mo and Doug. So again, this is the third podcast that I'm doing, or we are doing, on to be sensitive or not. But this time I want to focus a little bit on some self-diagnosis to see that if you are sensitive, and maybe we should desensitize, as well as if, what we can do to change it, and do we need to change it?
So is that for both ways? Are you too sensitive or not sensitive enough?
Sure, yeah. Actually, no, that is exactly. Just to objectify, again, the whole idea is
Right.
because we have to realize it is an emotion. Being sensitive is just an emotion. But does it make sense? Is it correct?
Is it the right thing in that situation
Correct.
and in that moment? And
Is it serving us or deserving us? Again, we have to be more logical about this stuff. Again, the feelings are the byproduct of our thoughts.
Right.
So if we can think correctly, then we can control our feelings.
Okay.
So for some of the stuff that, for example, you want to see that, are you overdiagnosing the stuff? For example, sometimes in life, somebody says something, then we go think, did he mean this? Did she mean that? Are we doing that? And of course, to avoid it, simply go ask the person. It's a very simple thing. What did you exactly mean? And that's okay. And make them feel comfortable to say what they want to say. It's a very important thing, because if you scare them, obviously, then
Correct. Yeah, if you come like aggressive.
or if, for example, you
Too
show that you
extreme,
get offended, then they will
Yeah.
try normally to please you, so that you will not get an honest answer.
Okay.
And very frequently, unfortunately, we are kind of scared of, and this is something that, again, it's a self-check. Are you scared of being judged by others? And, do you really care about what people think about
Correct.
you?
Yeah. So how concerned are you about others' opinion about yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's good to hear about it as a feedback, but it's just a feedback. It doesn't mean that their judgment, their feedback
right
is
or
correct.
wrong or,
It just gives you a different perspective. Then you have, a bigger, perspective to think about, and, to make a better decision. Are you really, waiting for a digital happiness? Like, for example, when we put something on Facebook or, this Twitter and those kind of things, how many likes we get? Or are you really want the real happiness? Which one? If you're doing too much of that you're waiting for people to, to make you happy, then you may want to...
You're going to have to wait a while.
Yeah. And you want to maybe think about that, what you're doing wrong, because you want to wait for others to make you happy.
Right.
You should be happy from inside on your own. And we do a lot of comparing normally, but this the comparison, I think, is a wrong thing to do. We want to compare ourselves versus our past to see, are we getting better, not comparing versus others, which unfortunately, and this is, for example, I believe Instagram is this way, that, it gives you the tools to, let's say, Photoshop your pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So
Filter
basic,
it and make it look what
which,
you want.
let us be real, this is fakeness. We are just we're faking it, and then we want to put the best picture. It is faking it. That's all.
Oh no, 100%.
So
Yeah, it's faking it where you're looking for validation from people.
That is the thing.
Somewhere else.
So we want to really do a self-check. Are we that? Are we doing that? And if we are doing, is this a good thing? Is it serving you in the long run?
But this, this is not really. It's just a point. Nothing. It's not really part of the discussion, but it's something that society is just thriving on. There's people making
It has
things out of this.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's completely off topic.
Of course, when we say that, again, it's not, I'm not sure how, it has become more a bit probably, but not as much. Again, the number of people that they do that, if in a big picture, in 100, let's say, people on, let's say, Instagram, how many of them do this?
Yep.
And then how many was before, if somebody has a stat. I don't think the number has changed a lot, but the few gets the attention. And unfortunately, when we speak, often we take it out of proportion. Everybody's doing that.
Glorify
People
it.
are
Yes,
this, that.
yes.
And because of that, I would say it's very important that if you are a little bit more accurate, we speak more accurately. That not everybody, you don't do that, I don't do that, and I don't even know how to do that. I don't need to do that, do I?
You're not that sensitive, no.
But really, so when we are photoshopping our pictures, in reality, we are faking it. And if you are a fake person, is that a good thing or a bad thing? What are you looking for?
Yeah. I mean, you'll get you'll reap the rewards from that, whether that be consequences or not.
Yeah. It's like, for example, dating sites, and when some people, they put the picture from several years ago, and then when you meet them, you say, what happened? Did you have some bad few weeks? You aged quite a bit. But again, the honesty part of it, we want to practice that. And the honesty comes with being vulnerable, to accept our flaws if there is one. And then, again, this is the thing. We want to practice this and be a little bit more real in life. And that real part of it is, again, when we speak, to be more clear, more accurate with ourselves, with our own feelings. If we are doing something that we are making a mistake, we are photoshopping things for the purpose of getting attention, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
What's going to do in the long term? If you look, you do all the best, and sometimes you think, this is another thing, sometimes you think you're getting the answer that you want.
You continuously live in that hope, and you've convinced yourself that I'm getting closer to that.
Yeah.
And you're just
not. This is one of the things, unfortunately, very frequently it's our own thoughts. Yes. That, for example, if I do this, people will like me.
Correct.
Although,
and that is, it's the opposite.
Very frequently, actually, this is the thing. Often we like honesty and simplicity. I mean, let us be real. Yourself, if you wanted to deal with somebody, would you like that person that, for example, have let's say, pretty face, or a good packaging in the outside, but when you meet them, you get disappointed? And why do you do that the other way around? Because you have to stay behind that packaging. You should not come out.
Depends on the purpose of the visit.
Actually, this is a friend of mine said that never meet your heroes.
Yes. You will be disappointed.
You will be disappointed. And this is another thing, so that when you meet them, you see that everybody has some flaws.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an exception.
Yeah, it goes with that complete and honest modesty of yours. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, you want to put yourself in their situation, or put them in your situation, and see how would you feel if somebody did what you do.
Yeah.
How would you feel about them? And a lot of them, we make it in our own head. It's not exactly that. It's not that, for example, if I Photoshop my picture and make it pretty, then the other people say, oh my God, it's so good. A lot of them. And when they see you, then they're
disappointed, yeah.
Yeah, and then you will have a lot more negative side effects than positive.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to being fake and being dishonest, and then, I don't know, it always comes back. It just doesn't work. Yeah.
And remember, this, when we do this thing, literally we become like, unfortunately I have to use this word again, like politicians, that they have the good answer, they give the yes answer to everybody. Although we are asking different things, they will say yes, yes, yes. Do you really want to be that person?
I think we should have a poll. Should Mo become a politician or not?
And actually, this is the thing. And I it was going through my mind a few years ago. If I would run for politics, what would happen?
You would lose.
But sometimes I'm not too sure too.
No, you'd lose. Don't worry about it.
Because sometimes, in honesty, I don't know. And sometimes I'm thinking, for the heck of it, I should do that, to see people do appreciate honesty. We think they don't. I mean, when you say people, it's you and me. Yourself, how would you do?
Oh, no, of course. I mean, honesty, and if you show some vulnerability in being honest and, real, that 9 times out of 10, there's a connection, and people actually appreciate that more than...
Even though that honesty, if I have been honest with you, I may not agree with you with that honesty. Right. So I'm not agreeing, for example, with your...
That's not the point.
But often, and maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe that was one of the reasons that Donald Trump won the election at that point.
Because he was brutally honest.
He was brutally honest. Of course, again, a stupid mind and honesty, they are two different things. It doesn't mean because you're honest, you're right.
No.
And sometimes your ideas...
if you have an opinion, it's the right one.
Yeah, again, so this is unfortunate, that, but that, sometimes we make a mistake too, when we say honest, it doesn't mean that, because sometimes people said, I'm very blunt, I'm going to put it like it is, but whoa, just take it easy. Yeah, it has to be smart too. Not just because you're honest, you get all the points, there are some stuff that but another way of self-diagnosing that sort of thing, that if you're sensitive or not, is to see how often do you use the words, I'm sick of this, or I'm tired of that, or I get offended. Or when people, for example, oh, he said this word, or she said that word, and then you just, how sensitive are you? And is it serving you?
Right.
Or is it making your life a little bit more complicated? Yeah. And how, when you speak, how much do you think about the words that you use? If you're thinking too much, and of course, what is too much? That's another story. But again, just something to think about. And how often, for example, you go back and think, oh, I should not have said that. Do you really go through that stuff? If that, you might want to think again that, no, just be okay. Be more real.
Yeah.
Again, normally I say that, don't worry about the words as much as worry about where it comes from.
Right.
If you're saying it from a position of love and care to somebody else, often, not 100%, but often, it will be taken correctly too, because the body language will relay the message often. Yeah. And in times that it fails, remember, any language you use at one point is failing. There is no doubt about that one. But again, at least this one, you're doing your best, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
But again, another way to, do some self-assessment is that, really, how much are we faking our own lives? That we are presenting something that we are not.
That's hard work if you need to do that.
And when you practice it, gradually you see that, and really when you're honest, I think it's easy. And I'm going to throw a few other things. For example, often, unfortunately, it has become more recent that I think it's more often that we appreciate a nicer package more than the product that is inside it.
Right.
We appreciate a better presentation than what it is said. So if you have used the right words, you're good. Regardless of the thing that you said made no sense or it was wrong. We appreciate a nicer clothing and makeup more than cleanliness and being fit. We just package it. We appreciate nicer words than truth.
That's true.
And so these are the things. We appreciate politeness versus honesty.
That's true.
So we have to think about that. How much of it, where are we with this thing? We appreciate a nicer, paint than a stronger structure. For example, if you want to buy a house, to best of my knowledge, a realtor does not talk about, oh, this house is on piles, and doesn't put as much emphasis on it because it's not as important. Although that is in here, this part of the country, if it is on piles, it's needed. The house doesn't shift as much for people that they are not familiar with this. But they appreciate the fact that, oh, it has a really nice countertop. And look, they just did a fresh paint on it. So again, how much of it do we value? Are we valuing the right things? Another thing is that when we spend how much of the time we spend with friends versus on TV and social media. Yep. So this, that do you enjoy your friends' company or the online company and thing? So it just shows that are we becoming more fake or more real? A kind of, I think, is associated. And when you need help, do you ask your friends or you call the 1-800 or the business that does that? I should say this was recently a friend of mine. She was asking that, she wanted to do something about her house, to make it nicer and things. I said, and she was asking if I know somebody who is an interior designer. I said, why do you want to do that? Your house is not necessarily the most gorgeous house. It's an old house. You want just to do, and I was very, honest, and, actually, and if you think that she gets offended, no, because she knows who I am, and she was just fine with that. But so the house is older. You don't want really. You're just trying to put some lipstick on it. Make it a bit prettier.
Yeah.
But why do you want to go pay an interior designer? Why don't you ask your friends? Oh, but maybe they don't want to talk about that. I said, but you don't know that. But she was so worried about hearing a no that I said, actually, very frequently.
More scared of the no than actually just asking the question. Yeah.
I said, but do you know that people normally love to help?
Yeah.
And if somebody would ask you, what would you say? She said, I would say, I don't know much about that, but if I did, I would. I said, so what makes you think that if you ask somebody else,
that they would say the same thing?
They would say something different, and they would get offended or something. And if they say no, so no, that's okay. Yeah. It is like, as I said, when I was building the house, when I was asking questions from a lot of people, and
everyone,
you remember that, yeah. But and one of the friends said that, but not everybody likes to talk about your house. I said, true, but I don't know who those people are. Unless if I ask. And if they don't like, then I won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Even between our stuff, we talked a lot about that. And this is very interesting with Doug, and one day we get together and Doug said, Mo, to be honest,
we're not talking about the house.
Yeah. And, I cannot do that. And they said, to be honest, I'm at a stage that I just want to do that. So we kind of didn't get together as often. It kind of cooled off.
Because you got boring. It's the only thing you spoke about.
And that is true. Honestly, I would do the same thing. I say myself, I'm interested so much, but I was in a situation that I had to. So our relationship basically just cooled off. But when the house was done, that I didn't have to talk about the house as much, then we again got back, we got together more often. So this is the thing. We are scared of that hearing no, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And, again, and most often people, they like to help anyway, so it got a bit deviated. But when it comes to the concept of being sensitive or not, at the end of the day, I think we want to think about that. Does it make sense? Does it do us a service? And it's all a feeling, and the feelings can change if we start thinking differently.
Don't do it all just by feelings, because it's not going to be right.
It won't work.
No.
Anyway, I hope, I couldn't, to be honest, put this the most proper structure way, but I'm hoping I have highlighted some of the good points, which I did, I believe. It's not like my channel, so that I get some help in that way.
Please comment. Constructive criticism will be great.
No, but in all seriousness, I'm hoping that it helps. That we identify things and starting thinking a bit again more. That do we need to be sensitive? At times we have to be.
Yeah.
Is it doing us good or bad in the big picture? And basically we make changes accordingly. And yes, we do change. And sometimes if, for example, even let's say we make a mistake, we say something that we should not have said, what things happen.
Happens, yeah.
You just go simply apologize.
Oops.
Yeah. I said this, I didn't mean it, I should have put it in a different way. That's all it is. And all comes back, it will show that, you're more comfortable with yourself. You will be more of you. And, honestly, it just helps. Makes life better.
Simple.
Very simple. Again, that is how we make life simple, not complicated. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and till the next podcast.
See you guys then.
Yeah, goodbye.